session.
Please be seated. Ms. Paul, next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. People call James Buck.
Buck, would you please step forward to the front of the courtroom? Please stand, raise your right hand, Ms. Warren.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
Please be seated.
Your Honor, just as before, some housekeeping matters with respect to Joint Exhibit number 100, which is a bullet, fired bullet. We would move for its admission at this time. It's a Joint Exhibit, and I believe we should make issues.
100 received.
With respect to Joint Exhibit number 101, which are laboratory reports authored by Mr. Buck, as well as his worksheets attached to that, we would move for those in their admission at this time.
Those are received.
And then finally, Your Honor, Joint Exhibit number 102 is the PowerPoint presentation that we would be using at this time. I don't believe there are any objections to that either.
102 is received.
Please state your name.
My name is James David Buck, Jr.
And what is your occupation?
I'm a firearms examiner with the Michigan State Police.
And are you considered a forensic scientist?
Technically, yes.
And prior to working with the Michigan State Police, were you employed in law enforcement elsewhere?
I would have to guys classify that as just with the U.S. Coast Guard.
So you were with the U.S. Coast Guard. What were your duties with the Coast Guard?
I was maritime law enforcement, search and rescue.
And any other prior military service?
Yes.
What was that?
I was United States Navy.
Okay. And what were your job duties in the United States Navy?
I was a bomb disposal technician.
And did you also attend some college?
Yes.
Where did you attend college at?
That was actually down on base, St. Leo University, Central Texas. Again, all courses done either on base or on board ship.
And how long were you in the Navy?
12 years.
And how long in the Coast Guard?
12 years.
Do you have any professional affiliations?
Yes.
What are those?
The Association of Firearms and Tool Marks.
And where are you presently assigned?
I'm currently assigned to the Grayling Forensic Laboratory.
And I'm sorry, you're cutting out a little bit for me. Grayling Forensic Laboratory?
Yes, Grayling.
And what are your present duties there?
I'm a firearms and tool marks examiner.
And how long have you been a firearms and tool marks examiner?
Approximately 13 and a half years.
And were you on the Michigan State Police Bomb Squad previously?
Yes, I was.
And how many years did you serve on Bomb Squad?
That was 8 years.
What type of training do you have to become a firearms and tool mark analyst with the Michigan State Police?
The actual training program is a 2-year program where we work with one or more senior examiners. Pretty much everything we do is hands-on. So we go through a very defined and set process of learning how to examine firearms, determine what type of firearms they are, and so forth, and then look at the actual components of the firearm as well as fired evidence.
Do you have to do any type of proficiency testing as part of your training with Michigan State Police?
Yes, we do.
And is that done on a regular basis?
Yes, it is.
How often?
We do an actual firearms proficiency once a year, and we do a tool mark proficiency once a year.
Do you work during your training period, do you work under another examiner for a period of time?
Throughout the training program, yes.
When did you start examining your own cases?
Well, actually, you're actually doing the examinations on your own cases while you're actually in the training program. And again, just everything is looked at by that senior examiner. But just specifically as a standalone examiner for me. That was in May of 2005.
Approximately how many firearms cases have you examined over the years?
We would be into probably over 2,000 at this point.
And when you do author a report, are there controls to ensure the reliability of your analysis or your opinion?
Yes.
And what are the controls?
Well, the controls we use essentially is our methodology, if that's specifically what you're asking about.
And do you also have another examiner review your work?
Yes. If we make identifications, everything is verified by at least one other examiner.
And how many examiners are located in the Michigan, or how many examiners are there in the Michigan State Police for firearms now?
That'd be approximately 20 to 25.
Have you testified as an expert witness in the area of firearms analysis previously?
Yes, I have.
And where have you testified?
It's been multiple counties, Saginaw, Misaki, Leelanau, Alger. I may have testified here.
I think that was prior to my tenure. Approximately how many times do you believe you've testified?
As an expert, between 25 and 30 times.
And have you ever testified in federal court?
No.
Your Honor, at this time I'd offer up Detective Sergeant James Buck as an expert witness in the area of firearms analysis.
His qualifications would entitle him to give evidence by way of opinion in his specialty.
When you receive a piece of evidence, what is the first thing you do with respect to your examination?
Respective examination, we make sure that the evidence was actually sealed correctly. If it's not, that would have been something that would have been taken care of when it first entered the building. So we just document, again, what type of container it's in, that it's sealed. Once we take the evidence out of the container, we document what that evidence is, whether it's a firearm or a firearm component, a fired cartridge case, fired bullet, what have you.
Do you document the make, model, serial number, caliber of the firearm at that time?
Yes, we do.
If there is a firearm. You said you take it out of the container. Do firearms arrive at your facility packaged in different containers?
They do. And again, without getting, I guess, too technical, sometimes they're not required to be in the container. If they're strictly coming in for a firearms examination, they're not, but most times they are within a container.
And is there rules regarding what types of containers you want police officers to place firearms in when they are recovered?
There's not specifically. They'll come in boxes or sometimes heat-sealed bags.
Do firearms always have serial numbers when they come in to be examined?
They do not.
What, if anything, do you do to try to recover a serial number if it is obliterated?
If we have an obliterated serial number, we will take pictures of that area before we do anything to the firearm. And we'll document what type of obliteration it is, whether it was scratched or ground off or possibly drilled. Then we'll check to see what kind of metal it is, whether it's ferrous or non-ferrous. Then we will start our procedures of working the surface, cleaning it up and polishing it. And then depending on what type of metal it is, determines what type of acidic solution that we're going to use to attempt to recover it with.
And what does the application of an acidic solution to that area do?
Essentially what it's doing is starting at that point, it's starting to dissolve the metal. Because what you have taking place is because of the way the serial number is put into the metal of the firearm, it compresses that metal, making that metal harder than the metal around it. So that acid will start to dissolve that softer metal quicker than it's dissolving the harder metal. Which then in turn is, if there's enough of the serial number still present, even though you may not be able to see it, that number will start to appear.
After documenting all of those items, what do you do next with respect to the piece of evidence?
Now, once we've documented all our evidence of firearm, throughout the course of our examination, we're also determining whether or not that firearm is safe to fire or not. And as far as the safety of the firearm, if it will function like it's supposed to, but yet it's not safe enough to handle for us, we'll put it into an actual remote firing platform and obtain our test shots that way. If the firearm is safe for us to be able to handle it, then we just take 2 test shots, minimum of 2, and then document those, give them their own identification numbers, and then move forward from there.
When you do receive a firearm, do you look at the rifling and the barrel if the barrel is present?
Yes, that is actually part of the examination process.
Okay. And what is an ejector?
The ejector is the component on the firearm that will actually discharge the casing out away from the firearm.
And what is an extractor?
An extractor is a little claw-type assembly that will actually hook onto the lip of the casing. So when the firearm cycles or moves to the rear, it will pull that casing out of the chamber.
Now, you had mentioned a remote fire chamber. Maybe I'm not saying that correctly, but could you describe just briefly for the jury what that is or what that consists of?
Now, the remote firing platform is just literally is a freestanding platform that attaches to our shooting tank. The shooting tank is full of water, and that allows us, it works off pneumatics, so that allows us to place that firearm into essentially a pneumatic clamp system, and then we can remotely essentially get to a safe area and remotely discharge the firearm without having to worry about the firearm possibly coming apart or hitting us with any type of fragmentation.
So after you fire your test shots, first of all, what is the purpose of the test shots?
Now, with the test shots, what we're looking to do is, one, to see if the firearm is actually going to function the way it's designed to function. The second thing it's doing is obviously allowing us to take the test shots so that we know where the test shots came from because we took them. The third thing we're looking for with the test shots is the firearm reproducing the marks that we expect it to reproduce, which is what we were looking at under the microscope.
Once the test shots are complete, what do you do next?
And once we have the test shots, again, we will give them a specific identifier. And then the first thing we'll do if we're going to be examining fired cartridge casings or fired bullets or what have you, the first thing we do is sit down on the microscope with both test shots because we want to see what the actual firearm is doing, what kind of marks that it's producing. And so what we're looking for is that consistency, a consistent pattern. If we don't have that, we may take additional test shots.
You talked about pattern. Is that related to class characteristics?
It is. It's a combination of class characteristics and individual characteristics.
Okay, and what are class characteristics?
The class characteristic is a predetermined characteristic that's made by the manufacturer. So when we're talking about class characteristics, we're talking about the rifling, the lands and grooves that are within the barrel, how many, the direction of twist, whether it's right or left. And then when it comes back to the extractor and the ejector and the firing pin, we're looking at not only what kind of a firing pin is it, as far as the shape goes, but also the placement of the extractor and the ejector.
And what are individual characteristics?
An individual characteristic are unique marks to a specific firearm, which again are placed into that firearm through the manufacturing process. So if we were talking about rifling, there's many firearms out there that have 6 right rifling, but as that rifling is put in, it is cut into the barrel. The tools that do that are continually changing, so the marks that you're going to see inside that barrel are unique to that barrel. And that happens because the tool that's doing the cutting is changing at the same time that the barrel is changing. So it makes it unique.
So you examine these test shots under a microscope, and you note these characteristics down on some sort of worksheet?
Yes.
And do you have something that you are comparing these test shots to usually?
So again, once we've determined what kind of class characteristics the firearm has, we take the test shots, and then that's just another way to verify that characteristic. And then what we would be looking for is if we have fired evidence, whether it's the fired cartridge casings or fired bullets, that's the first thing that we will do then is compare that evidence to those test shots to see if, in this case, does it even have the same rifle.
And do you have I guess an opinion that you render in your reports depending on what you observe between when you compare these test shots and the fired shot?
Yes.
Okay. And what is identification?
An identification is when we actually have enough of the individual characteristics, again, taking into account that first our class characteristics were the same. So we start looking at the individual characteristics, and we have enough individual characteristics present to say that it was fired either in a specific firearm or from a specific firearm.
And what is an elimination?
An elimination is when we have different class characteristics. This is an example of a firearm that has rifling of 6 with right-hand twist, and I get a bullet that say has 8 or 9 right-hand twist or maybe left-hand twist. That's an automatic elimination because of class characteristics.
And what is inconclusive?
Inconclusive winds up being the case when we have fired evidence and a particular firearm that has the same class characteristics, but because of the condition of either and or the firearm, possibly evidence or both, there's just not enough individual characteristics present to make an identification.
In this particular case, part of the gun was found in water, and there was prior testimony that it was transported in water. Why would that be necessary?
We specifically do that with firearms that are located in water because we want to keep them in the same environment that they're in the same type of water that they're in, because we don't want any continued degradation of the firearm until we're actually ready to examine it. So if we were to take it out of the water, whether it's done on scene or it's simply along the way, that corrosion process is going to start again. So we try to keep it in that same medium until we're actually ready to do the examination.
Now, Sergeant, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Joint Exhibit 89. Joint Exhibit 90. Do you recognize these items?
I do.
Okay. And could you take them out of the packaging and show them to the jury, please?
Okay, this is item 16, which is actually a magazine tube with the magazine follower. And this would be the essentially portion of the firearm that was actually submitted within the container of water.
Now, in this particular matter, this is reflected in record number 31, is that correct?
I would actually have to refer to the report.
When you received these items, did they come packaged together?
They did not.
And the magazine itself, did that, the barrel itself, did that come in the water?
Yes, this assembly right here was completely submerged in the water.
What did you do with that when you received it?
Well, when we initially received it, we just set it aside initially until we were actually ready to do the examination, so it stayed right in the tub of water.
And with respect to the examination, what did you do with the barrel?
Once we were ready to actually conduct the examination, it was removed from the tub of water that it was in. And it was cleaned up as best we could clean it. Then we, at that point, just left it like it was. There was no nomenclature present on it, so we were actually able to take and document what type of a firearm that we had here. Again, because of the condition and the fact that the serial number had been obliterated, that was the only thing that we did not know about the firearm at that point.
Were you able to tell how the serial number was obliterated?
Yes.
And how was that?
It was actually scratched and gouged off.
And in slide number 2 of PowerPoint, which is exhibit number 102, is that the firearm or the barrel as you received it?
Yes, it is.
Were you able to do anything with this barrel to make it operable?
No, this firearm, in the condition it was inoperable. So the most, at that point, that I was able to do was try to clean that barrel out. Because again, what I was looking to do was try to obtain those rifling characteristics.
And were you able to do that?
I was.
Okay. So you did obtain some rifling characteristics from this barrel?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you identify the make and the model?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And how did you do that?
Just simply by the nomenclature on the firearm, it was still legible.
And does it indicate to you that it's a Marlin Model 60?
Yes, it does.
Is that a 22 long rifle?
Yes, it is.
And do you know whether it was a lever action or a semi-automatic?
This is actually a semi-automatic.
And you've marked that, I believe, on your evidence sheets, is that correct?
Yes.
So you were able to obtain, well, in slide number 4, are we looking at the serial number in this slide?
Yes.
And you can see from that picture that it's been scratched off?
Yes.
Was the barrel of this gun drilled out or bored out in any way?
Not that I can say.
Now, you also received the magazine tube. Is there any way to tell if that magazine tube goes to that gun?
There is not.
And is there any way to fire through just a magazine tube?
I would say no, simply because of the way the magazine tube is designed.
Did you also receive a bullet to compare to in this matter?
Yes.
And that's joint exhibit number 100, which has already been admitted. Could you show the jury the bullet that you received, please? Now, you do not know, other than perhaps some discussions with me, from where this bullet was found, is that correct?
That's correct.
Was this bullet an exclusion to the rifling from this particular barrel?
Yes, it was an elimination.
An elimination, okay, thank you. Was the barrel missing, or the gun missing any other parts?
Well, it's essentially missing the trigger assembly and stock. But because of the condition it was in, it was just simply inoperable due to corrosion.
Did you also receive, well, in here we have on slide number 6, what is that item?
That is the fire bullet, item LC15.
And in slide number 7, is that a picture that was taken under the microscope, or is that just a regular photograph?
No, that's just a regular photograph, just a close-up.
Were you able to tell the caliber of the bullet?
Yes.
And what caliber was it?
It's a 22 caliber class.
Now, did you also receive a .22 revolver to examine in this matter?
Yes, I did.
And were you able to fire test shots from that .22 revolver?
Yes.
And Your Honor, for the record, the .22 revolver has already been admitted into evidence. I just don't recall the exhibit number at this time. Were you able to determine if that bullet that you possess right now matched the .22 revolver?
Yes, that was also an elimination.
So it did not match the .22 revolver. What was the condition of the .22 revolver?
The condition overall was good. I had no issues with being able to document the firearm, all the characteristics, and take test shots.
Thank you, Sergeant. I have no further questions.
Mr. Shoki?
Morning.
Morning.
You indicated that you received the barrel in water, is that correct?
That's correct.
And do you receive lots of guns that are found in water?
No, we do not.
No? Pretty rare to have it happen?
Yes.
Okay. Now again, you can tell a lot about that barrel. You can tell me the make, the model, caliber. You can't tell me whose gun that was, is that correct?
That's correct.
Can't tell me how long it had been in that Cascade Pond, is that correct?
That's correct.
You can't tell me again how it got there, correct?
That's correct.
And further, again, you said that there was no way you could tie that magazine tube to that barrel. There's no way you could connect those two items, is that correct?
That's correct.
You also told me that that bullet you held up, there's no way you can connect that to that barrel, is that correct?
That is correct.
And there's no way you can connect that to that .22 revolver, is that correct?
That is correct.
Again, basically what you tell me is that's a .22 caliber Marlin Model 60 semi-automatic. That's about it, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, sir. You're excused and excused from your seat.
I'll take those items. Do you want to continue?
Because you're going to be here this afternoon. I'm going to direct this to the Sheriff's Department. I have 2 arraignments at 1 o'clock on an unrelated case. Do you have the manpower to bring those folks to and from the jail in addition to the defendant? Okay. All right, Mr. Jury, we're going to start at 1:15. So we're going to take a noon recess. Again, you're free to go where you choose for lunch. Bring any slips back to the bailiff. Remember who you can talk to, what you can talk about. No experimentations, and no view of this. All right, thank you. You're excused.
All rise.
Please be seated. Anything for the record before we adjourn?
Not
I
for
mean,
people, Your Honor.
recess. All right, does the sheriff's department know, have you been alerted to bring these folks over at 1? No? So the these guys,
Yeah.
who said that they,
Lady with the short hair?
Christine.
Christine.
Have we been?
Christine, it's Gutierrez and...
Yes.
Andrew
I
Kirk.
believe they're.
they're holding, okay, so you know who they are, and you're prepared to go home? Yeah, at 1 o'clock. All right, we'll stand in recess.
All rise, court is in recess.